Genghis Khan. His name is synonymous with destruction, fear, and the relentless expansion of the Mongol Empire. A man who rose from humble beginnings to conquer more territory than anyone before him, he became a historical figure known not just for his military genius, but for his unforgiving brutality. In today's video, we're going to examine the 10 most shocking acts that Genghis Khan and his army committed during their conquests. 1. The Murder of Behter. Genghis Khan's ruthlessness began early, at the age of just 14. His first victim? His own half-brother, Behter. The story goes that Behter had stolen a fish that Genghis had caught for the family, which caused a violent rift between the two. In a fit of rage, Genghis, then known as Temujin, tracked his brother down and shot him with an arrow. While the motivations behind the murder vary across accounts, whether over food or a growing resentment for Behter's leadership, the result was undeniable. It was a sign of things to come. In the brutal world of the Mongol steppe, even family was expendable if it meant securing power. The murder of Behter set the stage for Genghis Khan's rise to power and showed his willingness to eliminate anyone who stood in his way, regardless of blood tie. 2. The Molten Silver Execution of Inalchuq. Inalchuq, the governor of Otrar, sealed his fate when he executed Genghis Khan's emissaries in an act of defiance. Furious at the betrayal, Genghis Khan responded with a punishment so grisly that it would become a lasting symbol of his cruelty. After the Mongols captured Otrar, they brought Inalchuq before the Khan. In a shocking display of vengeance, Genghis ordered molten silver to be poured into the eyes and ears of the governor. This gruesome punishment wasn't just about revenge. It was a public demonstration to others that betrayal, especially of the Khan's envoys, would result in the most horrific of deaths. The execution of Inalchuq was a chilling reminder of the merciless justice Genghis Khan would mete out to anyone who crossed him. 3. The Massacre of the Tatars. One of Genghis Khan's earliest and most brutal acts of revenge came when he wiped out the Tatar tribe. The Tatars had poisoned his father when Genghis was just a boy, and the young Khan never forgot the betrayal. As a result, when he came into power, he sought revenge. After defeating the Tatars in battle, Genghis ordered the execution of all captives taller than the height of a wagon wheel. This ruthless act led to the death of countless men, women, and children. The mass execution was not only a brutal act of vengeance for his father's murder, but it also demonstrated Genghis Khan's philosophy that no mercy would be shown to those who dared to cross him. This incident marked the beginning of the terror that would follow him throughout his conquests. 4. The destruction of the Khwarezmian Empire. The Khwarezmian Empire made a fatal mistake when its Sultan, Ala ad-Din Muhammad, executed Genghis Khan's trade envoy. Furious at this insult, Genghis Khan responded with the full force of his army, unleashing one of the most brutal campaigns of his career. The Mongols devastated Khwarezm, slaughtering entire cities and populations. After capturing the city of Bukhara, Genghis Khan ordered the execution of around 1.6 million people, including soldiers, civilians, and even the ruling class. Cities like Samarkand faced the same fate, which was total annihilation. The Khan's strategy was simple. Anyone who resisted would be wiped from existence, and their cities would be erased from history. This campaign left Khwarezm in ruins, and the empire was never to recover, serving as a stark warning to other adversaries. 5. The Massacre of Urgench. The siege of Urgench in 1221 remains one of the most infamous massacres in Genghis Khan's reign. After months of resistance, the Mongols finally breached the walls of this thriving city. What followed was nothing short of a slaughter. Over 1 million people were killed, and the city was reduced to rubble. But Genghis Khan's vengeance didn't stop there. His army killed every man, woman, and child they could find, and those who survived were enslaved. The Mongols burned the city to the ground, leaving no trace of the once thriving metropolis. The destruction of Urgench became a horrifying example of Genghis Khan's ability to wipe entire civilizations off the map in pursuit of total domination. 6. The use of human shields. In war, psychological warfare was one of Genghis Khan's most effective tools in battle. One of the most shocking tactics he used was the deployment of human shields. Captured civilians and prisoners were forced to march at the front of Mongol lines. Thus, they absorbed the enemy's arrows and attacks. This brutal tactic not only protected Mongol soldiers, but also served as a terrifying reminder to enemies that no one was safe from the Khan's wrath. The Mongols didn't just fight to win, they fought to terrorize their enemies, ensuring that future resistance would be minimal. The use of human shields is a stark reminder of the depths of cruelty Genghis Khan was willing to plunge to secure his empire. 7. The Bloodless Party. Execution of nobles. In Mongol culture, it was forbidden to spill noble blood in battle. However, this didn't mean that captured Russian nobles were spared. Far from it. One of the most shocking executions came when Genghis Khan's men captured a group of Russian nobles. Instead of executing them quickly, they subjected them to a horrifying fate. The nobles were placed under wooden platforms, and the Mongol soldiers then partied on top, crushing them to death with their weight. This form of execution was not only prolonged, but also a brutal mockery of the traditional rules of warfare. It sent a powerful message that no one, no matter their status, was immune to Genghis Khan's cruelty. 8. The annihilation of Western Xia Empire. The Western Xia Empire, also known as the Tangut Empire, made the mistake of resisting Genghis Khan's Mongol forces. Genghis Khan responded with a ruthless campaign aimed at completely obliterating the empire. After years of brutal warfare, Genghis Khan ordered the complete destruction of Western Xia. He wiped out its royal family, killed all the male inhabitants, and enslaved women and children. The capital city was destroyed, its infrastructure dismantled, and its lands turned into wasteland. The Mongols didn't just defeat the Tanguts, they erased them from history. This mass extermination was a warning to anyone who would dare resist Mongol rule, demonstrating Genghis Khan's absolute desire to crush any opposition. 9. The Siege of Zhengdu. One of the most infamous campaigns of Genghis Khan was the Siege of Zhengdu, modern-day Beijing. In 1215, after a grueling 3-year siege, the city fell to the Mongols, but not before its people endured unimaginable horrors. Starvation gripped the population, and reports suggest they resorted to cannibalism to survive. When surrender finally came, the suffering citizens hoped for mercy. What they received instead was utter annihilation. Genghis Khan ordered a massacre of the city's inhabitants, ensuring no resistance would remain. To serve as a warning to others, the Mongols created massive pyramids of human skulls outside the city walls, a chilling sight that could be seen for miles. Travelers described these skull monuments as horrifying reminders of the Khan's wrath. The once thriving capital of the Jin dynasty was left in ashes, its ruins serving as a grim testament to the cost of defying the Mongols. For Genghis Khan, Zhengdu was not just a victory, it was a statement to the world. Resistance would lead to annihilation, and submission was the only path to survival. 10. The death of Genghis Khan and his secret burial. Even in death, Genghis Khan maintained the aura of fear and mystery that defined his life. In 1227, during a campaign against the Western Xia, the great Khan fell from his horse, suffering injuries that would prove fatal. While some sources suggest he succumbed to his wounds, others offer alternative theories, including assassination or illness. Yet the circumstances of his death are only part of the mystery. What followed is equally chilling. According to legend, Genghis Khan's burial site was to remain an eternal secret. His funeral procession slaughtered anyone who crossed their path to prevent knowledge of the location. To further conceal the grave, it's said that a river was diverted to flow over the site, ensuring it would never be disturbed. Those who buried him were also executed, ensuring no living soul could reveal its location. To this day, the exact burial site of Genghis Khan remains undiscovered, hidden somewhere in the Mongolian steppes. This shroud of secrecy only adds to the enigmatic legacy of one of history's most fearsome conquerors. Even in death, Genghis Khan ensured his story would live on, shrouded in fear and legend. These 10 shocking acts of Genghis Khan reveal the extreme lengths he went to ensure no one could challenge him. His campaigns weren't just about military strategy, they were about absolute power, terror, and control. Genghis Khan left behind a legacy that echoes through history, not just for the millions of lives lost, but for the psychological terror he instilled in those who witnessed his campaigns. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the History and Curiosities channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Let us know in the comments what other fascinating topics you'd like us to cover. See you in the next video.